Hit it!
All right. It's time for sports concepts and rationalizations. We call it the 10-minute drill.
Yes, we do. As we pare down
We got a lot of little items to get to.
Sure.
But before we do, I just want to really pop out the drill poll question of the day. It's presented by Lockett Law DUI and Criminal Defense. Know before you blow. Call Lockett Law 858-9818. If your team made a bowl, Jeff Prosser, which bowl game would you most like to attend? And I give you 4 choices. I left off the Gator just because it's here in Jacksonville. Which is coming up tonight, by the way. The Sugar, Bourbon Street, the Orange, South Beach, Rose, the granddaddy of them all, their Fiesta. Which one would you like to go to?
Well, since I've been to 3 of those a dozen times, and I've never been to the Rose Bowl, it would not even be contemplated for me. Like I said, I've been to the Orange Bowl a couple. I've been to the Sugar Bowl 7, 8 times. And I've been to the Fiesta a couple or 3. So,
most agree with you. 53% of the nearly 500 votes at Dan Hicken on Twitter, if you'd like to vote, say the Rose, second place Sugar, third Orange, and only 3.8% the Fiesta, which is a great bowl trip, by the way.
Yeah, it is.
And it's one of my faves.
Yeah.
Like, I take
like
that over the Orange.
I would, too. As a travel
I'm kind of in the mood to go back to the Sugar because I haven't been in a while, so I would like to go to a Sugar. Well, I've been to a Rose, though, so...
Yeah, I've not done that.
The only the Rose Bowl is awesome because when you walk on that field and you see the glistening, it's everything in the mount cut into the mountains.
Yeah,
it is everything you thought it would be and more. But the whole dealing with the traffic and getting there,
I was going to say
in the rear end.
for the 4 hours of the game, it would be the Rose Bowl first.
Right.
For everything else, Rose Bowl would be last.
The Sugar is the best because if you get in the hotel right there on
you can walk everywhere.
You can walk right out on Bourbon Street and right into the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Bang.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool.
Not right across the street, but a walk at least within a mile or 2.
Yeah. So anyway,
I love New Orleans. I've done that back in our TV days. I was always stuck on the New Orleans beat. I've been to the Sugar Bowl, honest to God, almost as many Gator Bowls. I've been to the Sugar Bowl almost as many times as I've been to the Gator Bowl. Now, that's an exaggeration, but what have I seen there? I saw Florida-Miami there. I saw Florida State there a couple of times. I saw, actually just once, I saw Georgia-FSU. I saw FSU-Ohio State. I saw FSU-Virginia Tech. I mean, I've been to a ton of those suckers.
I went to the Orange Bowl once. It was not a good experience.
You did. You had a bad. Plus, when your team loses, you don't like the bowl game as much.
Is that FSU that beat you in that game?
Yeah, I beat the hell out of it.
Yeah.
David Stern passed away yesterday, 77 years old. And what will history say about David Stern?
You know what? I had this as a 10-10 take earlier, Dan, and forget the global implications of basketball that he served because he did. But I thought David Stern did something that maybe has not gotten enough due, and it might now as part of his legacy. When Magic Johnson announced that he had HIV, when he was HIV positive in 1991 or 92, all of us thought that if you were on an elevator with an HIV positive person, you were going to die.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a scary, unknown, and David Stern, because of the platform he gave Magic Johnson, let him play in the All-Star game, put him on the Dream Team, I think proved worldwide that HIV is not a death sentence, and if you are around someone with HIV, it doesn't mean that you, by proxy, are going to get sick. Right. I really think that that's an undersold,
that's fair,
legacy that David Stern has, and by using Magic Johnson, I don't mean that in a bad way, but using Magic Johnson as an example that this disease doesn't have to leave you ostracized and left to die. And in many cases, I look back on myself. I'm in mid-20s. I didn't know. To me, HIV positive was you had AIDS and you're going to die.
Yeah,
that's what it meant.
Right.
Well, some 30 years later, is Magic still thriving?
No question.
So.
Brett McMurphy put a list out of the bowl records. SEC is 6-2. Big 12 1-5. 1-5.
It's probably a shame that there are 6 Big 12 teams in it.
Yeah. Can you rattle off who did what in the Big 12?
I think I can. Kansas State lost to Navy. Oklahoma.
That was great.
Oklahoma.
That was great for Navy. Trick play at the end to get the field goal.
Yeah. Oklahoma lost to LSU, obviously.
Baylor lost to Georgia. Yeah.
Big 12. Texas won.
They're the winner.
They got them the win.
Yeah. Oklahoma State lost to A&M.
Yeah.
Iowa State lost to Notre Dame.
Yeah. Got killed.
Let's see. I think that's it, right?
How's the Big Ten doing? It's not doing particularly well either.
Big Ten is 4-4.
Yeah. But the big boys have lost. Michigan, Ohio State.
Yeah.
Wisconsin. Those are the three best teams in the league. They all lost.
I didn't watch a ton of the Rose Bowl. It didn't fit into my schedule yesterday.
I watched it all.
Did you?
It was okay.
I thought when I was watching, Wisconsin was dominating.
They turned it over, Hick.
Yeah.
They turned it over like 4 times. They outgained them like 2-1. They outpossessed them 3-1. They won the game in every measurable.
The game, you watched it all?
Yep.
I am not sold on Herbert.
Yeah.
Do you feel better or worse?
No,
the guy took like 130 yards.
Here's what's going to happen, though. He's like Josh Allen.
Yeah.
He's got the measure. He's a big, strong kid.
He's not as athletic as Josh Allen. I know he ran the ball pretty well yesterday, which surprised
but more
people.
than pretty well. I mean, you taking it from 45 yards on a sprint and people chasing you.
He did.
You've got some athleticism. His last rushing touchdown was a long one.
Okay.
So, and he scrambled out and caught a procession and took it all the way in. So the short ones, you're right. That doesn't. But he's big and strong armed. He made some NFL throws last night.
Right.
And it seems like when they draft now, can you find a guy who on tape has some NFL throws? Right, and that lifts you so much more than it should.
Well, that's what they were saying about Fromm last night on the one to Pickens in the corner of the end zone.
Fromm, to me, is his arm all that? It does not look that strong to me.
It doesn't look that strong.
I don't.
He reminds me a little bit of, and I don't know why, or maybe just because I think it's going to end up this way, is like Christian Ponder.
That's a good one.
So I don't see it. But anyway, back to Herbert. Would you take him if you needed a quarterback in the first round?
Look.
Yes or no? Do you think he's going to be a great NFL quarterback?
I don't think he's going to be a great.
Is he a franchise guy?
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
I do. I would take him because I need a quarterback, and he's one of the two or three. I mean, you're only as good as the class that's available.
Yeah.
And so somebody will.
Is he better than Eason?
I don't. Yeah, I think he is.
Yeah, he probably is.
I saw that. That's the one game that I watched a lot of. I watched a lot of that game, that Washington-Oregon game, and they both played pretty well that day.
Yeah.
I'd say he's definitely more athletic than Eason. He can get around in the pocket better, and he's a big kid, big, strong. I mean, yeah, he could be. I think you go to the right team and the right coaches and the right. He's not. To me, the inaccuracy is what bothers me as much as anything. He's not inaccurate.
I did see one play in the game I was watching live when the whiskey punter decided to just drop the ball.
Yeah, that was one of the many. That's it. And they took it in for a score.
Take it and go.
Not only am I going to drop it, but I'm going to let you pick it up and take it on in.
Wisconsin has lost its last 4 Rose Bowls.
Huh. Yeah, they've lost like 6 bowl games in a row, I think, or something.
SC's won 5 since Wisconsin's last Rose Bowl win in 2000. Oregon's won 3. Ohio State, Stanford, and Texas have won 2. And Georgia, Miami, Michigan State, Oklahoma, TCU, and Washington have all won 1 as well. So, anyway.
Wisconsin's just a prototypical classic 10-2 team. They're always good enough, and they play good enough to be a top ranked team, but never good enough to win it all. They never have all the pieces. Probably never will.
Oh, stop.
It's hard. How are you going to win at Wisconsin?
They're going to win it all.
You had Russell Wilson. You didn't win it all. There you go.
Oh, dear.
They didn't win that bowl game with Russell Wilson? I thought he went out there and won the Rose Bowl.
Guess not.
Huh. Or maybe they've just, wow, that surprises me.
Guess not. All right, so we talked about the Jaguars in the press conference and just a sneak peek to look ahead next year, but just like, for example, on the road, what would your overall thought be of you're going to Baltimore, Cincinnati, Green Bay, Houston, Indy, Tennessee, Minnesota, and the Chargers?
I would say that the Cincinnati and the Chargers game, in the both franchises' current conditions, the Jags would have a
shot at those.
Better shot than of winning.
Yeah.
I think the division games, I think especially the Indy and Houston games, I think the Jags can play with them. They just don't play well at Tennessee. I'm never going to pick them to win in Tennessee ever.
Can't.
They beat.
Until they do it.
They don't just beat them; they beat the hell out of them every time. So, but Houston and Indy, no, they usually play tough in those venues. So I think there's 4 games on the road right off the bat that you've got a decent chance of winning.
Okay, and then home you would get the 3 low,
and again, kind of the same. Look, I think you can expect or hope for them to go 3-3 in the division.
Okay.
Right? Did they this year? They were close to that, weren't they?
You also get
2-4 this year in the division. Yeah.
You get the Browns, the Steelers, and the Bears, and the Lions.
Okay.
And the Dolphins.
Yeah. There's some winnable. That schedule, for whatever reason, sitting here today, maybe just the disappointment of the year a little bit more in the rearview mirror.
The home games are easier this year.
Yeah, that doesn't sound as hard as it sounded like when we had them winning 0 the other day. Now, cynically, but
I would guess that.
But I think that could be a 5. You could go 5-3 at home with that schedule.
Okay, so you're basically painting me at best 8-8.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
But if Dave Caldwell and Doug Marrone can do something they've never done, which is their job really good, then it could be quicker. But you better you better do what Indy did, right, when they took Nelson and Leonard. When they had 2 high draft picks and they had the offensive and defensive rookies of the year, and Indy was a playoff team last year and won a playoff game when many people didn't think they would. That's what you have to do. You can't go out there and give me Taven Bryan. You can't go out there and and get me Blake Bortles or Luke Jokel or Derek Harvey or any of the other failed knowing that Caldwell didn't draft Harvey, but any of those failed first rounders, they just can't afford. They need them to hit long term and short term. They need to be able to contribute next year.
When I ask you, Jeff Prosser, last thing here, when I ask you to tell me the greatest athlete ever from Jacksonville, who would you say?
Bob Hayes.
Bob Hayes, right? Who else? Give me a couple other ones that would be up there.
All right. Like David Duval, to me, was a number 1 golfer in the world. That's that's not an athletic sport, but I think
it's good.
I think he's probably worthy of being up there in the top 3.
Yeah.
I mean, Derrick Henry won the Heisman Trophy. He won the rushing title in college and pro football.
Well, that's my guy because mostly people
would say,
who I
got to?
People would say Hayes.
Is that who you're waiting me to get to?
Yeah. People would say Hayes, Tebow.
Tebow, that's another one.
Those kind of guys. Chipper, if you count him from here. But Derrick Henry might be the great. I mean, he won a Heisman Trophy, he won a college rushing title, he won an NFL rushing title now.
Did you see the list of guys who have won NFL and college rushing titles? He's on that list. It's only like 8 or 9 people, but it's like O.J. Simpson, Marcus Allen, Charles White.
Charles White won an NFL rushing title?
Remember he came back as like an old guy and did it?
Did he really?
Maybe I missed. Hold on.
Okay.
Almost positive.
Marcus Allen, yes, for sure.
I'm pretty sure Charles White was on the list, but I'm not.
Rather you not bring up Orenthal, but that's okay.
Yeah, O.J. did it.
We'll get him. Yeah, I know he did. We'll get him on the program a little bit later.
Barry Sanders is another one's on that list.
When we go to Vegas, we'll get a one-on-one live with OJ. We'll send Beef out to find him.
Yes, that'll be good. Yeah, don't come back.
Sticks?
Don't come back until you get it.
Yeah, and don't turn left at the ranch.
And whatever you do, don't go into his hotel room unannounced. He will kidnap you.
Correct. Beef, what are we giving away today, friend?
We're going to hook one lucky Guggen up. Apparently, Dave and Doug won't need these. Parking passes for the airport.
Okay.
For
641
USAPark.net.
641-1010. We'll take caller number 2 today. Caller number 2, and we'll hook you up with some airport parking. Nothing better. Best way to travel in the world, by the way. We're back with Doc Murphy. Some tough questions from Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. Next.